This was something really interesting that I found on Cosmic Book News because it did not show up for me. It says Joker 2 trailer is here with a big YouTube warning. I didn't get this, but apparently it says, like, if you're not logged in, it says the following content may contain suicide or self-harm topics as like a warning. And the first thing I thought of when I saw it, first of all, I don't remember seeing anything so blatant in the trailer. But we're going to watch it. But it felt like it's just trying to market edginess towards the movie. Yeah. In a way to capitalize on what the marketing was, or what the hullabaloo was around the first film. So if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead. I wanted to show it. I wasn't initially going to. We'll probably have to cut this segment out of the live stream later. But I do want to show it for you guys because I did put up a poll today. I asked you guys, did you like the trailer or didn't you? You know, based on whether you saw the first one or not. So let's go ahead and watch this one live.
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
We use music to make us whole, to balance the fractures within ourselves.
I'm nobody. I haven't done anything with my life like you have. Let's get out of here.
What's changed, Arthur?
I'll tell you what's changed. I'm not alone anymore. That's what we should be talking about.
I want to see the real you.
They must have shot this like 10 times.
The hardest job in that scene was the guy who had to clean the glass every time they had to wipe off the music to redo it and clean it. It's like, okay, so the glass has to be clean, but not so clean that it looks like it doesn't have, you know, the glass separating two people, which is very, like, I always make a joke anytime I watch a movie with like a prison scene. I was like, I would pay these writers and directors to not do the thing where they put their hand on the glass and then the other person puts their hand on the glass, because it's in every, like, anytime there's glass separating someone in a prison scene, they have to do the thing where they put their hand on the glass. I was like, please don't, just once, don't do it.
It makes them human.
Yeah. Thoughts? First of all, what was the stuff about self? I guess the this was that the only thing that I saw that had anything to do with self-harm?
Yeah.
That
I can think of.
That I can think of. And the fact that they would add like a warning beforehand tells me that it's a publicity tool to make the movie seem edgier than it actually is.
Totally.
I didn't like the first one.
Oh.
I thought it was a lot of like pity porn. Like I found it like very pathetic. I was like, oh my God, he suffers just like me. And everyone that liked it seemed to go along that vein.
That's a really good point. I don't like the first one either, and I never thought of it like that, but that's a great way to describe it. Like, I don't want to feel bad for the Joker. Like, I don't want to.
You don't want him humanized.
Well, not the humanized part. Like, but it was the focus on.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, the pathetic side. Like, you could have him get beat down and be treated badly and stuff, but it was just you know, like So, and I think that the pity porn is a great way to describe it. So
I agree with you. I hate pity porn. I hate murder mystery shows and stuff like that. But the Joker was an exception for me. I actually did really like the first one because I was like rooting for him by the end. Yeah. So the fact that they were able to get me to do that was kind of like it was the exception to the rule.
I'm more in the camp where like I'm over the deconstruction of villains. I'm over the deconstruction of characters in general.
Yeah.
Like one of the reasons I loved, like people would complain that for a long time all they would do is superhero origin stories is because they weren't at the deconstruction phase yet and they weren't, tearing this character apart and telling you why they are this way. I don't need to know why a character, like sometimes a character is just evil and I'm completely okay with that. Like I don't need a character to, I mean, that's kind of the conundrum they have with all of these spin-offs and TV shows. Like they're making the Penguin TV show right now, which is supposed to be, from what I've heard, extremely violent. I'm sure it'll be great. Whatever. Colin Farrell's fantastic. But that's one of those things where it's like every character, at least he's a bigger name character now. Now what they're doing, outside of just characters like Joker and Penguin, is they're taking obscure characters that you might have heard of once, and they're saying, let's make 8 episodes about why they were this one obscure thing in this movie you saw 10 years ago, and I don't really need it. The trailer is beautifully shot. I really, really appreciated the color. This is the dorkier side of me. I appreciated the color grading and the cinematography,
sure,
but that isn't enough to hold interest for me. And when I posted about, my first instinct was, I'm not smart enough nor artistic enough for this to make sense to me. Like I don't care. And it's like 15 songs is a lot of music for a 2-hour.
That's another thing that really puts me off about this is the amount of music that's going to be in it. I'm not into musicals. If I see them singing, which I assume it's going to be Harley Quinn because they got Gaga, who is a legitimate performer. So clearly there's going to be that, and that's just going to make me want to kill myself.
It's a musical movie?
It's a musical.
Minecraft.
So my initial pitch, which I actually thought was, okay, we got a $20 one here from Nate, says, I don't think the point was to pity him. It was more that is more like the Killing Joke, I think. More of what could go, what does it say? More like what could you go through before you break? Yes, I mean, that is true, but they adapted multiple storylines for the Joker, but the Killing Joke is part of it. Certainly the last scene in the auditorium is taken directly from that.
So in literature classes, they teach you when you're writing a story to show and don't tell. And so I feel that some people took that to heart and took it to extreme. Yeah. Because when I feel show, don't tell, I think they mean show subtly through action, through, I don't know, metaphor, things like that. Yeah. What may have led the character to go through this action. But the entire movie is show. And then the end, this whole moment that breaks the tension. But for me, there was so much tension that built up. Even when it broke, it didn't. Yeah.
Interesting. Because maybe to you, like, no matter what, it doesn't justify his bad behavior. Like, it's trying to gain pity of, like, oh, well, this is why he did this. And he deserves sympathy. But you're more of the volition of, like, I don't care what you've been through. It doesn't mean you go and on a live show and... I
wasn't even thinking about that, honestly. It was just like, it's too much.
Another thing is like I think maybe what Brett said earlier, it does bother me, the humanizing of him. There are people that like are really broken and sick, like should actually be medicated or taken, have need of care. And it doesn't always come from, bad experiences in life. Like there are people that are really sick that need care and need to be isolated, and it has nothing to do with the fact that they were beaten down. And I think that that was kind of the thing that is kind of one of the things that I liked about the Joker. He was just menace and chaos and
it makes more sense to humanize
evil,
It makes more sense to humanize a character like Mr. Freeze, who has the tragic backstory with his wife who is sick and he goes mad trying to fix. That makes more sense.
But with the Joker, it's like it justifies Batman breaking the law and doing the things that he needs to do that are actually outside of the law and outside of the justice system, because the Joker is so crazy and so like out of control. It's like the fact that he's pure evil, or that's the form of pure evil in that world, it makes it okay for Batman to break the law. So when you take that away and make him humanized, maybe it may be reading a little bit too much into it, but I think that might be one of the things that turns me off about the.
It's so one note. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, at the end of the day, this didn't need to be made because there never needed to be a sequel to this movie because it was never intended to be a franchise. And whenever you go past there, of course, Hollywood's always going to do that. They're never going to let something that made $1 billion on a $55 million budget just sit. I can't even blame them. As an executive, a person who says, we invested this much money and we made this insane amount back, you're not going to leave something like that on the shelf. I get it, but I just don't think it needed to be made at all because it was kind of a unique moment in time. Like the amount of backlash that came to this movie that was almost entirely created by the media is not there this time. The media is all on board for it. And I tend to, I had mentioned this before, I tend to judge these types of projects by how far they reach into the real world. I remember my dad went to see this, and my dad just doesn't go to see movies in the theater. He went to see like this and Top Gun Maverick. So it's like, it's obviously, it became bigger than just a movie. And that's because the media was saying that somebody was going to do something violent at the theaters. They were hoping for it. They were. Like when we went to the theater for this, there were cops there. And we went to like an afternoon show. Like sometimes there's cops on a Friday night at the theaters out here. But that's not the case usually for daytime showings or stuff during the week. And when I saw it, it was during the week. It was like Thursday or Friday. I don't remember if it was Thursday or Friday. The Thursday night showing, but it had to be Friday afternoon or something like that because there was it was an afternoon show and they wouldn't have done it on Thursday in the afternoon. So there was cops there during the afternoon, not something they would normally do because the media whipped everyone up into a frenzy and they thought something bad was going to happen. And the media wanted that to happen because they love that stuff. Right. There's this comment the other day that the director of the new movie that's coming out called Civil War said that the world is a less safe place because people don't trust journalists anymore.
That's really cute.
Dude, I was listening to a thing to, I think it was Ben Shapiro talking about how NPR, there was a piece written about NPR, and the reason is because NPR started judging people and telling people what they should be doing and what they should be thinking, and that's what the entire media has done. They turned into these judgmental, policing your behavior. If you do something wrong, they'll write up an article. Do something politically incorrect, they'll write up an article and attack you. It's if you're a private individual, like I understand people like me, right? Like
public,
so I'm in a
public figures.
Yeah, public. I'm in a band. I understand that's going to come with the territory. But like just people that are doing normal things that behave politically incorrectly, writing a piece about them and violating their privacy and making a mockery out of them. That's what the media does now. That's part of the media. Which is funny because of course people are going to look at the media and be like have a negative opinion of them.
And they're the ones who claim that they want to speak truth to power, except for that's not what it actually is. It's
such a joke. It's such a lie.
There's a $20 one here from Beavis McLean. Says, I am sick of the pity porn as well. I would prefer to see a horror slasher movie with a supervillain as the main character. Instead, as the main character instead. P.S. Would you mind if I shout out my contribution to the culture war? Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shout it out.
Go for it.
There's your shout out. They did the 2019 movie Brightburn is an evil Superman movie, which is in a similar vein. But they're not going to do that. I see somebody saying they should make Alan Ritchson Batman versus the Phoenix Joker. I'd still love to see Alan Ritchson as Batman.
I hate being that terminally online person too, but it's probably that the movie's probably that way because every single piece of media by force has to have some progressive tint to it. Yeah. So that's how like progressives like, oh, actually when you're the victim, it's never your fault really.
Well, they took that they split that on this because they were mad that this movie was pitying a white person. Basically,
I remember
white men, right? Like you're not allowed to do that.
There's another $20 one.
Go ahead.
Read it. Yep. From Beavis McLean. Check out the Camo Comedy Podcast, 2 M's in Camo. Available now on all podcast platforms. Hilarious stories from military service, such as episode 6, the most Marine story ever. P.S. We need more Marine stories. Semper Fi.
Semper Fi. Did you see, Phil? You posted
Forgive her.
It's not her fault. Hoorah! You posted the picture the other day of the guy with the scope on back.
Yes, that is not only just the guy. That is the captain of the boat. That is the skipper.
Oh no!
That is the skipper. Now,
please. can be danced to that's not just pure chaos.
Yeah.
I like the chaotic.
He is the skipper, so he's the captain, right? So I think he's an admiral, probably a 1-star admiral. I'm not sure what the boat is, how big it is. But anyways, he's the skipper. He most likely was just handed a rifle for the photo, most likely. But like, still, like he was on backwards.
I like the guy with the arm on his back too.
Yeah, yeah.
Which looks like he's doing like a room entry, and a guy's letting him know that he's behind him.
Well, it also, I think in the picture, if I recall correctly, there are 2 casings flying through the air.
Yes.
So it's possible that he actually had, like, I don't know if it was an M4 is probably just a full auto. So it might have been he just had it on full auto and just let rip a burst. So there's a couple in the air flying as it goes. But still, he was not shooting. Like, he did not have any idea what he was shooting at, because I believe that, again, it
was the Navy, right?
Yeah, it was the Navy. He's the captain of a boat. So, well, the Navy's got the SEAls. So, like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is going to embarrass SEAls forever. Like, you show them this picture and then, like, play in the Navy by the Village People, and they'll shut up.
But to Beavis McLean, yes, shout out to Camo Podcast. So go and check that out. I just last night was looking up. I never look up the podcast rankings. Like, I never listen up to the audio podcast rankings. We were like 33rd in entertainment, which is pretty good.
There's a lot of podcasts out there.
So that was pretty good. So
congrats.
I did go read through some of the negative reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Why?
It brought me joy.
Okay, good.
I like the general, like, okay, so I'm okay with the general critiques. I love the general critiques. This guy sucks, whatever. Like, it's when they start to critique, like, your actual positions on things, which is rarely, like, they take one point and then they misconstrue the whole thing you're trying to say. And I don't like that, because I can't talk back to them and, like, have a conversation with them.
Right.
But if you just want to tell me I suck, that's fine.
That's fine.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, this is going to be Brett's Joker origin story.
Yes, it is.
There's another $20 one from Jasper Plan 9. Hi, Brett. I loved the trailer. My theory, the trailer scenes are shown out of order. The last scene is the beginning of the film. Thanks to you and Mary for tolerating the mange. He doesn't deserve to be canceled from C2E2.
I agree. Mange did not deserve to be canceled from C2E2, nor did Ethan, nor did Anna, that Star Wars girl. That was a whole bummer situation. Look, what I wanted for the movie, my pitch was 2 or 3 songs, and you have 2 or 3 scenes that are extremely violent in the movie, and they sing the songs while they're killing people. That would be cool.
That'd be fun.
But limit the music.
They're trying to do like what was that Bradley Cooper Lady Gaga movie?
It was A Star Is Born.
Yeah. They're trying to recreate that. They're doing like a 2-for-1.
There was nods to La La Land in that in that trailer on the roof there. There was multiple scenes that are shot to look like that.
You know, that strikes me as like some stupid marketer got in there. It's like, well, the data says that people like all these things, so let's put them together and please no one.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.